Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor teach how thought plus energy shape your reality. Every moment of your life, whether you are aware of it or not, you are creating. The invisible currents of thought and emotion that flow through you are not random. They are energetic blueprints forming the structure of your experience. Earl Nightingale taught that we become what we think about, a phrase so simple that most people underestimate its depth. Bob Proctor expanded that truth by revealing how thought carries energy, and that energy vibrates outward, attracting circumstances that match its frequency. Together, they offered a complete map of human potential. Thought as the seed, energy as the soil, and reality as the harvest. From the moment you wake up, your mind begins to broadcast energy into the universe. Every belief you hold, every emotion you feel, sends a signal that shapes the field around you. Most people believe they are reacting to the world, when in truth, the world is reacting to them. This is the profound shift Nightingale and Proctor wanted humanity to make, to see ourselves not as passive recipients of fate, but as conscious co-creators of experience. When Earl Nightingale spoke about success, he didn't mean it as luck or external achievement. He meant it as alignment, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The moment you decide what you truly want and hold it consistently in your mind, you begin to reorganize reality itself. Proctor added a dimension to this understanding. It's not enough to think positively. You must feel the energy of that thought. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to vibration. If you think of your mind as a transmitter and your heart as an amplifier, you begin to understand how powerful your energy truly is. When your thoughts and feelings are in harmony, the signal you send is pure and strong. When they are divided, when you say you want wealth but feel unworthy of it, you send a mixed signal, and the universe simply mirrors that confusion. This is why mastering your inner dialogue is the foundation of every transformation. Nightingale insisted that the mind is like fertile soil. It will grow whatever you plant, flowers or weeds. Proctor reminded us that the quality of the seed is determined by emotion. If your thoughts are rooted in fear, you cultivate limitation. If your thoughts are rooted in faith, you cultivate possibility. Imagine two people with identical goals. One repeats affirmations of success but secretly feels anxious and doubtful. The other feels grateful, calm, and certain of their outcome. They both say the same words. Their energy could not be more different. The second person will attract opportunities, people, and circumstances that match their vibration, while the first will keep chasing results that never seem to stick. It's not magic, it's alignment. The energy of your thoughts determines the texture of your experience. Nightingale would have called this the power of intention. Proctor would have called it vibration. Both were describing the same mechanism, the law of attraction in motion. It's the reason two people can live in the same environment, face the same challenges, and yet experience completely different outcomes because their inner energy patterns are not the same. To understand this fully, you must see thought as substance, not abstraction. A thought is energy condensed into a form your mind can perceive. That energy either expands or contracts your field, depending on its nature. Positive, loving, grateful thoughts expand. Fearful, angry, resentful thoughts contract. Expansion draws in abundance. Contraction repels it. Now imagine that your every thought is like a wave in an ocean. Each ripple interacts with countless others, creating patterns that eventually become physical circumstances. When you change the rhythm of your thoughts, you change the entire movement of your sea of energy. That's why Proctor said, your results never lie. They are a mirror of your vibration. You might ask, if thoughts are so powerful, why doesn't everyone live in abundance? Because most people never observe their thinking long enough to guide it. They let old habits, fears, and cultural conditioning run the show. Nightingale's genius was to teach awareness to make us conscious of what we are thinking and why. He taught that you could chart your destiny, by charting your dominant thoughts. But awareness alone is not enough. You must charge those thoughts with emotional energy. This is where Proctor's teaching transforms the idea into practice. He explained that emotion is what gives a thought creative force. Thought without emotion is like lightning without thunder, beautiful, but with no impact. When you combine the clarity of a thought with the energy of belief, you set creation in motion. Every great breakthrough, invention, or success story begins this way. Someone believed in an idea so strongly that the world had no choice but to rearrange itself around that belief. Nightingale called it the strangest secret because it seemed so simple, yet so few ever applied it. Think of a radio station. Your desires exist on a specific frequency. If you are tuned to fear, you cannot receive the signal of abundance. You must adjust your vibration to match the reality you wish to experience. This adjustment is not done through force, but through alignment by choosing thoughts and feelings that harmonize with your intention. The truth is, you are never disconnected from the universe. You are always connected. But sometimes you tune yourself to the wrong frequency through doubt, worry, or resentment. The law of attraction does not judge, it simply reflects. It gives you whatever energy you maintain most consistently. That is why Nightingale emphasized discipline. He said, "Control your mind, or it will control you." Proctor echoed this with his belief that discipline is the bridge between thought and manifestation. You can't expect new results with old patterns. You must train your energy the way an athlete trains their body daily, deliberately, with faith and focus. This is not about suppressing negative thoughts. It's about replacing them with higher ones. You can't erase darkness by fighting it. You illuminate it by turning on the light. When you practice gratitude, meditation, or visualization, you are not escaping reality, you are sculpting it. You are programming your subconscious mind to expect good. And because energy follows expectation, your external world adjusts accordingly. Both Nightingale and Proctor believe that success is not created by chance, but by law. The same law that governs electricity, gravity, and magnetism governs thought. It is precise, impartial, and unfailing. Once you learn how to direct your thought and emotion consciously, life begins to cooperate in extraordinary ways. So today, ask yourself, what energy am I transmitting? Do my thoughts align with the life I desire, or do they contradict it? Every time you choose faith over fear, gratitude over lack, and love over resentment, you shift your vibration and with it, your entire destiny. The real power of thought and energy lies not in what they can attract, but in what they can transform. They turn confusion into clarity, struggle into flow, and potential into manifestation. And the moment you begin to use this power consciously, you step into the role you were born to play, the deliberate creator of your reality. To truly understand how thought and energy shape your reality, you must begin to see your mind as both the architect and the builder of your world. The architect designs with clarity. The builder constructs with discipline. Nightingale taught that every human being is endowed with this creative faculty, yet most people allow their minds to drift without purpose. A drifting mind is like a ship without a rudder. It moves, but it goes nowhere meaningful. Proctor agreed, explaining that without intentional energy, thoughts dissipate into confusion rather than creation. You may not realize it, but every time you think, you are giving an order to the universe. When you think in terms of lack, you are commanding lack to appear. When you think in terms of possibility, you are summoning expansion. The universe listens not to your words, but to your vibration. That vibration is the marriage of thought and feeling, the precise point where Nightingale's logic meets Proctor's spirituality. Your energy field is constantly in communication with everything around you. Every person you meet, every event you experience, every opportunity or setback is a reflection of what you are radiating. Nightingale often said, "Our environment, the world in which we live and work, is a mirror of our attitudes and expectations. That statement reveals one of the greatest spiritual truths ever spoken. Reality is not fixed. It is reflective. If you look around and don't like what you see, don't curse the mirror, change the image it reflects. That means changing the quality of your thoughts and the vibration of your emotions. Proctor often reminded his audiences that energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. The same energy that now manifests as worry can, when redirected, manifest as inspiration. The same vibration that now attracts chaos can, when purified, attract order and success. But to do this, you must develop awareness. Awareness is the master key to transformation. You cannot change what you do not observe. Most people live on autopilot, reacting, worrying, repeating patterns of the past. Awareness breaks the cycle. When you begin to watch your thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky, you detach from them. You stop being the thought and become the thinker. That space between you and your thoughts is where power begins. Nightingale emphasized that the human mind functions best when given a clear, definite goal. Without a goal, the mind wanders aimlessly, scattering energy in all directions. Proctor built upon this by teaching that when you focus on a goal and infuse it with emotion, you activate your subconscious mind, the gateway to infinite intelligence. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It responds only to the vibration you feed it most often. That's why visualization is so powerful. When you vividly imagine your desired outcome, your brain and body begin to act as if it's already happening. This energetic alignment sends a consistent message to the universe. This is who I am. This is what I vibrate. This is what I attract. Over time, that vibration crystallizes into physical reality. But here's where most people stumble. They visualize once or twice, feel inspired for a day, and then return to their old habits of fear and doubt. The universe doesn't respond to occasional bursts of faith. It responds to consistent vibration. Nightingale called it the law of cause and effect. You cannot plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. But if you tend to it daily with belief, it will grow inevitably. Proctor taught the same principle through the lens of energy. He said that thoughts charged with emotion send a powerful current through your subconscious, while those without emotion fade quickly. That's why repetition, fueled by feeling, reprograms your inner world. The more often you feel abundant, even before physical evidence appears, the faster abundance materializes. Now consider how this process applies to every area of life: money, relationships, health, purpose. Each begins with an image held in the mind and a vibration sustained in the heart. The thoughts you nurture and the emotions you cultivate form a kind of magnetic field around you. That field interacts with others, drawing in people and situations that resonate with its frequency. When your vibration is coherent, when your thoughts and emotions are aligned, your reality becomes ordered, harmonious, and abundant. This is not superstition, it's physics. Quantum science is now catching up with what Nightingale and Proctor taught decades ago. It confirms that observation changes the observed, that consciousness directly influences matter. When you focus on gratitude, opportunity, and purpose, your energetic field literally shifts. You attract synchronicities, those moments that seem coincidental but are actually responses from the universe to your vibration. Here's the truth most people overlook. Your current reality is old news. It's the byproduct of thoughts and energies you've sustained in the past. To change your life, you must stop reacting to what is and start creating from what can be. When you focus only on your current circumstances, you keep recreating them. But when you shift your attention to the vibration of your desired reality, you begin to overwrite the old pattern. Nightingale would have described this as thinking ahead of your environment. He understood that all progress, all achievement, begins in the mind long before it appears in form. Proctor would have said you are raising your frequency. Both mean that you are no longer living by reaction, but by creation. Your energy responds to the dominant images and emotions you hold. If you want to experience more abundance, think thoughts of abundance. If you want more peace, cultivate the feeling of peace. Don't wait for the condition to create the emotion. Let the emotion create the condition. That's the reversal of cause and effect that all great spiritual teachers understand. Bob Proctor used to remind his students that energy flows to and through us constantly. We are transmitters of infinite potential. Our responsibility is to shape that energy through thought and feeling. The moment you decide what you want and believe it's possible, the entire universe begins to rearrange itself in your favor. But if you send mixed signals, wanting abundance, but fearing lack, you delay the process. That's why clarity is magnetic. A mind that knows what it wants is powerful. A heart that feels it already achieved is unstoppable. The combination of those two, the thought of Nightingale and the energy of Proctor, is what creates miracles. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how many times you failed or doubted. The universe is not keeping score. It is responding to your current vibration. Each moment offers a fresh opportunity to recalibrate. Each thought is a doorway to a new possibility. The only thing that ever truly limits you is the story you keep telling yourself. Change the story, and the vibration changes with it. In the end, both men were saying the same thing. You are not a product of your environment. You are the creator of it. When you understand this, fear loses its grip. You no longer feel powerless or trapped by circumstance. Instead, you recognize that everything around you is energy, and energy, by its nature, is malleable. So as you move through your day, remember this. Every thought is a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. Every emotion adds color, depth, and light. If you don't like what you're painting, change the palette. Choose thoughts that uplift. Choose feelings that empower. Choose energy that expands. Because the truth is simple yet profound. The moment you align your thoughts and your energy, reality has no choice but to follow. Now that you understand the fundamental truth that your thoughts and energy co-create your world, it's time to bring that knowledge from concept into experience. Because wisdom unused is potential wasted. And both Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor believed that true transformation happens only through applied understanding. Earl Nightingale often said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Those words may sound simple, but they hold deep spiritual meaning. Progressive means that success is not an event, but a continuous unfolding. It is the natural result of aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions with a vision that gives your life purpose. A worthy ideal means something that lifts you, something that contributes not only to your growth, but to the betterment of others. When your intention is pure, your energy becomes magnetic. Bob Proctor expanded this truth through the language of vibration. He taught that when your goal and your energy are in harmony, you step into what he called the flow of universal intelligence. In that flow, ideas come easily, opportunities appear effortlessly, and coincidences multiply. But when your thoughts are scattered, your energy becomes chaotic, and that chaos is mirrored back to you as frustration, delay, or confusion. So, how do you align thought and energy? It begins with clarity of purpose. Spend time alone, without distractions. Ask yourself, what do I truly want to experience? What would make me feel most alive? Don't answer from logic alone. Feel the energy of your answer. When you imagine that reality, does it fill you with peace, excitement, or gratitude? That emotional signal is your soul's compass. It tells you when your vision aligns with your higher purpose. Once your vision is clear, you must hold it consistently in your mind. This is where Nightingale's discipline meets Proctor's vibration. Nightingale would have told you to write it down, to repeat it every morning and every night, to keep your goal before you as a constant reminder. Proctor would have said to feel it, to step into the frequency of already having it. When you combine these two forces, the repetition of thought and the embodiment of feeling, you create coherence between the conscious and subconscious mind. The conscious mind chooses the vision. The subconscious mind executes it. But the subconscious doesn't respond to words. It responds to emotion and repetition. That's why affirmations alone rarely work unless they are charged with feeling. Think of your subconscious as fertile soil. Your thoughts are the seeds. Every time you repeat a thought with emotion, you are watering that seed. Over time, it takes root, grows, and bears fruit in your experience. But if you plant one seed of abundance in the morning and then fill your mind with fear, doubt, and complaints the rest of the day, you uproot it before it can sprout. The soil of the subconscious cannot grow conflicting seeds. This is why spiritual alignment matters. Meditation, gratitude, prayer, these are not religious rituals. They are energetic technologies. They still the noise of the conscious mind, allowing the deeper vibration of truth to rise. In stillness, you align your thoughts with the infinite intelligence that Nightingale called the creative mind. Bob Proctor used to explain it through frequency. He'd say, "Everything vibrates. Nothing rests. You attract what you are in harmony with." That means that your financial situation, your relationships, your opportunities, they are all vibrational reflections of your current inner state. Change your vibration and your outer conditions rearrange themselves automatically. But let's make this real. Suppose you desire financial freedom. The average person says, "I want more money," but vibrates with feelings of lack. They focus on bills, scarcity, and worry, all of which broadcast the exact opposite signal of abundance. The universe, perfectly neutral, simply mirrors that vibration back as more lack. To shift that, you must think abundance and feel abundance simultaneously. Visualize wealth not as something distant, but as energy already circulating around you. When you hold gratitude for what you already have, you move from a state of lack to one of sufficiency, and sufficiency attracts more. Earl Nightingale illustrated this through analogy. He said the mind is like land. It doesn't care what you plant, but it will return whatever you sow. If you plant corn, you get corn. If you plant nightshade, a deadly poison, you get nightshade. The land doesn't judge. It simply produces. Your mind works the same way. If you plant thoughts of fear, you harvest anxiety. If you plant thoughts of faith, you harvest peace and prosperity. Bob Proctor took this metaphor further by explaining that vibration is the bridge between thought and matter. When you maintain a high-frequency thought long enough, energy condenses into form. That's manifestation, not magic, but law. So the question becomes, what frequency are you living in right now? You can tell by observing your emotions. Your feelings are your inner compass. Joy, gratitude, enthusiasm. These indicate that your vibration is aligned with abundance. Fear, resentment, and doubt are indicators that your vibration has drifted toward limitation. The good news is that you can change your frequency instantly by changing your focus. This is where practice matters more than theory. Start each day by setting an energetic intention. Don't just list goals, tune into them. Before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, spend 5 minutes feeling the frequency of the reality you wish to live in. Imagine already having what you desire, not in the future, but now. Feel the calm confidence that comes with knowing it's done. This single act begins to reprogram your subconscious and shift your energy field. Throughout the day, guard your vibration like a sacred flame. Avoid negative talk, gossip, or fear-based media. Every thought you entertain is either feeding your vision or starving it. When you catch yourself worrying, pause and breathe. Replace that thought with one that empowers. It's not about suppressing negativity. It's about transmuting it. Proctor often said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." Nightingale would agree. But he'd add that discipline begins in the mind. Every time you choose a positive thought over a fearful one, you strengthen your mental muscles. Every time you choose gratitude over complaint, you reinforce a new vibration. Over time, these small choices accumulate into a powerful current of energy. You begin to notice subtle shifts, opportunities arriving, ideas flowing, people appearing at just the right moment. That's not luck. That's law. The truth is, thought and energy are partners in creation. Thought gives direction. Energy gives movement. Without thought, energy is chaotic. Without energy, thought is inert. When you merge them consciously, you become a deliberate creator, no longer a victim of circumstance, but a master of vibration. And that's the secret both Nightingale and Proctor devoted their lives to teaching. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner state. Change the inner, and the outer must follow. The mind shapes the pattern. The energy fills it with life. Together, they form the blueprint of your reality. And once you understand that, there are no limits to what you can manifest. When you begin to live consciously aware that your thoughts and your energy are shaping your reality every single day, something extraordinary happens. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. This is the true shift that Earl Nightingale called awakening to purpose, and Bob Proctor described as becoming a conscious creator. The first realization in this transformation is that your mind is not a storage space for memories or worries. It is a broadcasting station. Every moment, you are sending out energetic signals through your thoughts, feelings, and intentions. The universe, like a perfect echo chamber, responds not to your words, but to your frequency. This is why you can say, "I want abundance," while unconsciously vibrating fear or scarcity, and the result still reflects your vibration, not your vocabulary. Earl Nightingale used to say that human beings become what they think about most of the time. It sounds simple, almost too simple, yet that single sentence holds the key to unlocking the deepest mysteries of existence. Because what you think about shapes how you feel, and how you feel determines the energy you emit. Over time, that energy crystallizes into the circumstances of your life. So, the first discipline of mastering thought and energy is awareness. Throughout your day, pause often and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? Don't judge the answer. Just notice it. Awareness is the light that dissolves unconscious patterns. Once you see a thought clearly, it loses its power to control you. Bob Proctor often reminded his students that your results don't lie. If you want to know what you're truly thinking, look at what's showing up in your life. Your finances, your relationships, your health, they are feedback loops. They reveal where your dominant vibration is set. But this feedback isn't meant to condemn. It's meant to awaken. It tells you where your inner calibration needs adjustment. To shift your vibration upward, start by shifting your inner dialogue. Nightingale believed in the power of suggestion and repetition. He encouraged people to replace negative mental chatter with deliberate affirmations of success and gratitude. When you speak words that align with your highest self, you literally rewire your neural pathways. Science now calls this neuroplasticity, but Nightingale and Proctor knew it decades before neuroscience caught up. The next step is to pair those new thoughts with corresponding emotion. Thought alone is like a light bulb that isn't plugged in. Feeling is the electricity that makes it shine. You must feel your affirmations as true, even before there's physical evidence. That's faith, not blind belief, but the confident knowing that what you desire already exists in energy form, waiting for your alignment. Every morning, create a sacred routine to center your vibration. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and imagine light flowing through you. As you breathe, picture yourself surrounded by abundance, health, love, and peace. This isn't fantasy, it's energetic training. You're teaching your subconscious to expect good things. You're shifting from a vibration of doubt to a vibration of certainty. Earl Nightingale would have said, "You move toward the image of yourself you hold in your mind." Bob Proctor would have added, "That image vibrates energy that draws to you its physical match." Together, they reveal that imagination isn't daydreaming, it's creation in progress. When you hold an image long enough, with conviction and emotion, the universe begins reorganizing matter to fit that pattern. You might notice new ideas appearing in your mind, chance encounters, or unexpected opportunities. Don't dismiss them as coincidences. They are responses to your energetic signal. But here's something both teachers emphasized. Maintaining a high vibration isn't about pretending to be happy all the time. It's about choosing alignment even in contrast. You will have challenges, but they are not punishments. They are invitations. Each difficulty reveals where your vibration still carries resistance. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this showing me about my energy?" Nightingale taught the principle of calm perseverance, the ability to stay centered and purposeful regardless of circumstances. Proctor called it emotional mastery, learning not to let outside events dictate your internal state. When you combine these, you develop true spiritual resilience. You stop being tossed by every storm because you realize you are the ocean, not the waves. Let's make this practical. Suppose you're facing financial stress. The old vibration of fear wants to say, "I can't afford this. Things never work out for me." That thought immediately lowers your frequency. But if you pause, breathe, and say instead, "Money is energy, and I am learning to flow with it," you shift your vibration from lack to openness. Follow that thought with gratitude for what you do have, even if it's small. Gratitude multiplies whatever it touches. Another practice is visualization through service. Instead of visualizing only your personal gain, imagine your abundance benefiting others. See yourself helping family, creating opportunities, contributing to something larger than yourself. When your intention expands to include the good of others, your energy amplifies. The universe supports what serves the whole. Bob Proctor often said, "The law of increase works through praise." That means when you appreciate others, when you celebrate their success, you align with abundance. Envy contracts energy. Praise expands it. Nightingale echoed this through his belief in the attitude of gratitude. Together, these create a magnetic field that draws prosperity naturally. You can test this right now. Think of someone you admire, someone successful or joyful. Instead of comparing, send them silent blessings. Feel genuine happiness for their good. Notice how that instantly lightens your own vibration. That's energetic alignment in action. Over time, you'll find that abundance isn't something you chase. It's something you allow. The more you relax into faith, the faster things flow. Both Nightingale and Proctor stress that effort is important, but forced effort driven by fear repels results. Inspired action born from faith attracts them. There's a profound difference between working for money and working with energy. When you work for money, you push against resistance. When you work with energy, you ride the current of inspiration. The former drains you. The latter fuels you. This is what spiritual mastery looks like in daily life. It's not detachment from the world. It's engagement from a higher state of being. You walk into the same world, but everything feels different because you've changed your vibration. People respond differently. Opportunities appear naturally, and even challenges become doorways to greater awareness. Earl Nightingale believed that every person has a quiet power within them, waiting to be directed. Bob Proctor called it the infinite potential of spirit expressing through form. When you merge the two perspectives, you realize that you are both the thinker and the energy behind the thought. You are the observer and the observed. You are, in essence, consciousness creating itself anew every moment. The real secret is that you've never been separate from abundance. You were simply tuned to a frequency that made it seem distant. Shift the dial of your mind, and the music of prosperity begins to play loud and clear. When you begin to live as both the creator and the creation, your entire sense of reality shifts. The world no longer feels like something happening to you. It becomes something responding to you. This is the level of awareness where thought and energy merge seamlessly, where your vibration becomes the language through which you communicate with life itself. Earl Nightingale once said, "We are, at our very core, creators." And Bob Proctor took that idea even further, teaching that creation doesn't stop at the moment of birth. It's continuous. Every day, every thought, every emotion contributes to the architecture of your life. You are sculpting your reality moment by moment, and that sculpture reflects the quality of your energy. When you finally accept this truth, responsibility becomes liberation. Many people resist the idea that they create their reality because they fear blame. But responsibility is not about guilt, it's about power. It means that if you created something you don't like, you can also create something different. The same power that built limitation can build freedom. Bob Proctor often told the story of how he shifted from being a man in debt to a multimillionaire. He didn't start with a business plan. He started with a decision. He changed his inner vibration before his circumstances changed. He said, "The moment I began to see myself as wealthy, opportunities started to appear that had been invisible before. That's not coincidence. That's law in motion." Nightingale explained the same phenomenon through the mind's filtering system, what modern psychology calls the reticular activating system. When you hold a goal clearly in your mind, your subconscious begins to notice resources, people, and possibilities that align with that goal. They were always there, but you couldn't perceive them while vibrating at a different frequency. This is why changing your inner state precedes every outer shift. You can't wait for conditions to change before you feel abundant. You must feel abundant for conditions to change. That's the paradox most people miss. The universe mirrors your inner world. It doesn't instruct it. Imagine two people walking down the same street. One feels grateful, the other feels bitter. They pass the same stores, the same faces, the same opportunities. Yet one notices kindness, beauty, and potential, while the other sees problems, noise, and lack. Their external reality is identical, but their internal vibration filters their experience. The grateful person attracts more things to be grateful for. The bitter person attracts more reasons to complain. That's not luck, it's resonance. Earl Nightingale called gratitude the seed of all prosperity. He believed that success begins with appreciation, because appreciation is the vibration of abundance. When you are thankful, you acknowledge that good already exists in your life. That recognition multiplies it. Bob Proctor echoed this by saying, "The universe gives to the grateful." Gratitude turns on the energetic current of receiving. Start small. Each morning, list 5 things you're grateful for, not just mentally, but emotionally. Feel the warmth of gratitude expand in your chest. Let it vibrate through your entire being. That feeling becomes the energetic signal of abundance. Over time, you'll notice that your mind begins to focus naturally on what's going right instead of what's missing. That's when your vibration stabilizes. The next key is imagination, the workshop of the soul. Nightingale said that everything ever created by man first existed as an image in someone's mind. Proctor added that the higher you can raise your imagination, the faster you can manifest it. Imagination bridges the gap between energy and matter. When you visualize, don't just see the picture, feel it. If you desire wealth, imagine not just money but freedom, peace, and generosity. See yourself paying your bills with ease, giving freely, living joyfully. Smell the air of that future. Hear the sounds of that success. Taste the emotions of that reality. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between imagined experience and physical experience. It responds to emotion. Now, imagine pairing that visualization with action. This is where many people misunderstand the law of attraction. They visualize, but they don't move. They wait for a miracle instead of becoming one. Nightingale would remind you, ideas without action are merely dreams. And Proctor would say, faith without movement is incomplete vibration. So take inspired steps. They don't have to be big. Sometimes the smallest action, a phone call, a new habit, a single decision, carries enormous energetic weight. Each step forward signals to the universe that you are serious, that you are aligned. Action grounds energy into form. But don't confuse inspired action with forced effort. Forced effort comes from fear, the belief that you must push the world to get what you want. Inspired action flows from trust, the knowing that life is collaborating with you. You'll know the difference because inspired action feels expansive, not exhausting. It energizes you rather than depletes you. This is where meditation and intuition become your greatest allies. The more you quiet your mind, the more you can hear the subtle guidance of your higher self. Earl Nightingale often referred to this as the quiet voice of wisdom. Bob Proctor described it as being in tune with spirit. The two are the same. Intuition is the soul's language of energy. It speaks softly, but when you follow it, life unfolds with precision and grace. When you live this way, thinking clearly, vibrating highly, acting with faith, something miraculous happens. Fear begins to dissolve. You realize that fear was never real. It was just energy misdirected. Once redirected into faith, that same energy becomes power. And that's the alchemy of creation. Transformation is not about fighting darkness. It's about turning on the light. You don't overcome negative energy by resisting it. You transcend it by vibrating above it. When your frequency is high, negativity cannot reach you, not because it disappears, but because you're no longer a match for it. This is what Bob Proctor meant when he said, you can't attract abundance from a frequency of lack. And what Nightingale meant when he said, we become what we think about. Both were pointing to the same truth. Vibration is destiny. To live this truth fully, you must practice it in every aspect of life, in how you speak, how you feel, how you act, and how you perceive others. Each moment is a choice. Alignment or resistance, love or fear, expansion or contraction. Your consistent choices carve your energetic path. As you master this awareness, you begin to move through the world differently. People will feel your energy before you say a word. Circumstances will seem to rearrange themselves around your intentions. Synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences, will become daily events. You'll wake up feeling guided, supported, and peaceful. You'll also notice that abundance stops being just about money. It becomes about time, love, creativity, and health. Everything expands because your vibration expands. You stop surviving and start thriving. Earl Nightingale said that a person's success can be measured by the degree of peace they feel. Bob Proctor agreed, saying that peace is the ultimate prosperity. When your thoughts and energy are one, when your inner and outer worlds mirror harmony, that's the true definition of wealth. When you truly understand that thought and energy shape your reality, something profound awakens inside you. You stop chasing change in the outer world and begin cultivating it in your inner world. You realize that everything wealth, love, peace, opportunities is born from within. Earl Nightingale once said, the opposite of courage is conformity. And Bob Proctor lived by that principle. Both men urged humanity to stop living reactively, to rise above the current of the unconscious masses and live by spiritual design. Because when you conform, you disconnect from your creative essence. You start living according to fear, doubt, and external validation. But when you act with courage, when you dare to think differently, to feel richly, to believe deeply, the universe begins to rearrange itself in your favor. The real journey of manifestation isn't about learning something new. It's about remembering who you are. You are not a body trying to have a spiritual experience. You are spirit expressing itself through a body. You are consciousness experiencing itself through creation. Bob Proctor often said, "You are God's highest form of creation." That statement isn't arrogance, it's awareness. It means you are made of the same creative substance as the universe itself. You think, therefore you create. You imagine, therefore you give life to form. You believe, therefore you command the unseen. Earl Nightingale called this power the strangest secret, that we become what we think about. But what's even more profound is that we feel into being what we think about. Thought is the blueprint. Emotion is the energy that animates it. Together, they create the vibration that materializes into form. So if you want to transform your world, start by transforming your vibration. Stop saying, "I'll believe it when I see it." Instead, say, "I'll see it when I believe it." That shift from doubt to faith, from fear to knowing, is the quantum leap that Nightingale and Proctor spoke of. It's not just psychological, it's spiritual physics. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your state of being. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy align in harmony, you become magnetic. You begin attracting people, situations, and opportunities that match your highest frequency. Life becomes fluid, effortless, graceful. This is the true flow state, the divine rhythm where manifestation feels natural. But how do you stay in that state? Through awareness and gratitude. Awareness keeps you conscious of your thoughts. Gratitude keeps you anchored in abundance. Gratitude is the soul's acknowledgement that creation is already complete. When you thank before you receive, you declare faith. When you thank after you receive, you confirm alignment. Both are acts of power. So begin every day with gratitude. Feel appreciation not just for what you have, but for what is becoming. And before you sleep, release any resistance. Forgive yourself, forgive others, and reaffirm your vibration of peace. This daily spiritual hygiene keeps your energy clear, your mind focused, and your heart open. Because the truth is, manifestation isn't about forcing the universe to give you what you want. It's about aligning yourself with what already exists in potential form. Everything you desire already exists vibrationally. You don't create from nothing. You tune into what already is. That's what Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor taught in their own ways. Your thought is the directive. Your emotion is the fuel. Your faith is the bridge. Together, they open the infinite field of possibility, where energy crystallizes into experience and the invisible becomes visible. And when you finally live from that space, you'll notice that you stop asking, "When will my manifestation come?" Because you'll feel it already here, within you, vibrating through every cell, every breath, every heartbeat. That's when you've mastered the art of creation. That's when you become a conscious co-creator with the divine. Earl Nightingale taught you how to think. Bob Proctor taught you how to believe. But you are the one who must embody. When thought meets belief, and belief meets vibration, your entire world transforms. That is the law. That is the secret. That is the power that was never outside of you. You are energy. You are creation. You are the law in motion. So today, remember, you are not waiting for abundance. Abundance is waiting for you to vibrate at its level. You are not searching for love. Love is seeking your alignment. You are not striving for peace. Peace is your natural state beneath all resistance. And the moment you recognize that truth, truly feel it, embody it, everything changes. Because that is the moment when your thoughts and energy finally shape your reality. Exactly as Earl Nightingale and Bob Proctor promised, and as your own spirit always knew.